Next up, we got Teofimo Lopez. Hold on. This day. No, we gonna switch this. You gotta say the best for last. We gonna switch this up. We gonna put they got David O'Hara. David O'Hara, man, he going journey, man. I'm sorry. All right out the gate. That man got his butt whooped by Ismael Barroso in the first round and talk about it was the oxygen in the casino. Bullshit! Vegas be pumping they be pumping the hotel rooms in the casino with oxygen so you can't sleep. I was talking about it on Instagram. Well, maybe Instagram was what was keeping you up, man. That light on your phone was keeping you up and the oxygen, so you got to be focused, bro. You got to sleep, bro. That's an excuse. You want to talk about Errol Spence and Shakur Stevenson and all these other people, Teofimo Lopez with mental excuses or whatever. That's an excuse. The oxygen? Come on, bro. Yeah, that's journeyman already, man. That's journey. I don't even want to talk about that.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.
So let's get it popping, man. So today I want to talk about this tier list. Like I said, I'm gonna make this a video. So if you're not here right now, it's gonna be available on the YouTube. I'll probably post it after. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to edit it because I don't know how long the video's gonna take. But I'm gonna do a little tier list between the 135 pound and 140 division. So that's between lightweight and junior welterweight, 135 and 140. Because there's a lot of challenges down there and a lot of talking saying this person's better than that person, this person's better than that person's better than this person. So I was like, man, let's make a tier list. I think that'll be fun and interactive, man. So let's get right to it. So I already populated some of the names that I included on there. I don't know what order they're going to be in and stuff like that, but I could pretty much recognize all of them anyway. So let's go ahead and switch scenes and go to that right now, man. All right, switch my scenes. Let's go. All right, let's get to it. So this is you can't really see because you can't see everybody. Well, I mean, we're gonna go through the list one on one. I don't want to make myself too small. So I can put myself right here in the middle, I guess. I can make myself a little smaller. Yeah, that's good right there. Yeah, so we're going to talk about this 135 to 140 division, man. So I populated a list of boxers here who I think are relevant right now. And if you disagree, feel free to make your own list. You know what I'm saying? It's a free country, baby. But if you want to come, I implore you and I encourage you to come and critique mine. I can take all the punches. I ain't worried about it. So yeah, so let's get right to it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. So let's do it, man. So it's like I said, this is a tier list of the 135 to 140 pound division, which is a lightweight to junior welterweight. Or you can say super lightweight, however you want to call it. I prefer the juniors, like junior middleweight, 154 and all that stuff. Junior middleweight to the middleweight and stuff like that. So yeah, so first off, you see I named the tier list, excuse me, this way. That's the tier list there. Sorry, the different tiers on the tier list. And you see the S tier, well, the top tier is what I call pound for pound talent, right? P4P Talent is pound for pound talent, which would be like the S tier. Those are the fighters that I consider to be, next level talent, generational talent, dominant talent. Not saying that they are number 1 pound for pound, number 2 or number 3 but they could easily be in the top 10. They have that potential, you know what I'm saying? And so next up we have the champion level, which is the A tier, which I consider these as like the real champions. I'm not talking about the little paper the little paper belts that they be giving away. I'm talking about the real things like WBO, IBF, WBA, WBC, all that stuff. And like the real recognized people's champion, if you will. So champion level, that's considered the A tier. And then next up, the next list after that is, I call it the star power. Those that demand your attention. They might not necessarily be an undisputed champion or never make that pound for pound list, but when they fight, you want to see. They gonna generate the revenue. They gonna put their booty in the seats. You know what I'm talking about? The ass in the stands. You know what I'm talking about? Sorry, not to cuss, mama. And then and they got the gatekeeper, which is the C tier. Those are those of you that watch boxing, you be boxing purists and boxing connoisseurs out there. I'm a huge boxing enthusiast, pugilist enthusiast, as I like to say. This is like your Gabriel Rosados. Like you got to be good to beat them, but they just, like if you beat them, that lets you know that you're good. But if you can't beat them, then that maybe you got to go back to the drawing board. Those are people that are like, yeah, they're fringe level champions. Like they sometimes a great performance, they can give you an upset, but they not really gonna be that dude, you know. And then last tier is called journeyman, which is the D tier. I know a lot of y'all were expecting maybe like tomato cans or something like that, but me, I don't call anybody tomato cans or cab drivers. In my opinion, that's very disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people who say that stuff wouldn't bust a grape in a food fight. You know what I'm saying? Like me, as a former boxer myself, or amateur boxer myself, you know, I actually boxed in the same gym as Tavares Cloud, who's a light heavyweight champion, you know, former light heavyweight champion, Tiger Boxing Gym in Tallahassee, you know, and you know, I shared the ring with him and stuff like that, and amongst some others, it's like it takes a lot of courage to top of that ring, mano a mano or woman a woman. So I salute to all these warriors and stuff like that. I don't like to call them tomato cans. Some people aren't as good as they are as the next man or the next woman, but to say that they can't fight, them stepping in that ring, let you know that they got some cojones and some, you know, and some courage and stuff like that. So a lot of people that say that downplay people, you know, everybody's not gonna be the best. So I feel like I just call them journeymen. Journeymen are those that you know, that fight for a living. You might catch them over here spar as a sparring partner or somebody that you may know of, and you never know, they might have a great performance. But as far as what's expected of them, you know, they're probably less than average fighters. You know, less than your average fighter. So that's what we call the D tier. We call them journeymen, man. And sometimes them journeymen get them titles now, you know what I'm saying? So, and then also too, you know, I'm going to leave off some of the newcomers like Keyshawn Davis and Andy Cruz, etc. You know, as they don't have too many professional fights under their belts at this moment, and their inclusion would mostly be a projection of their potential career trajectory at this point, you know. So I don't want to include them because that's too much guessing, and they don't really have the fights like that, and for me to even measure them yet. So I want to keep like people like Keyshawn, Shushu, Floyd Schofield, all the people. We're gonna keep them off. Andy Cruz, we're gonna keep them off. And speaking of Keyshawn Davis as well, this list will also disregard the fighters that are past their prime at this point, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So like, for example, Keyshawn Davis is gonna fight Jose Pedraza, right? He was a former champion, great fighter. I think Gervonta Davis first got the title from him years back, and but he's mostly considered a test, right? At this point of his career, he's mostly considered like a test for the youngins. You know, like Keyshawn Davis, you're gonna be able to test them, and just for them to prove their mettle and their worth. So we're gonna keep people like that. Same with people like Jorge Linares, and Jorge Linares, I think he's actually retired right now. But same with like Richard Kami and stuff like that. No one's really considering them as real competition right now, you know, as far as being at the top of their class or anywhere considered near it. So we're gonna keep them off, people like that, you know what I'm saying? So let's get it popping, man. Let's get it popping. I don't want to be too long to keep this timer on. All right, so first up, can y'all see that? All right, we got Subriel Matias. Ooh, the big boxer out of Puerto Rico, man. This is gonna be a tough one, man. So he last stopped. Last time we saw Subriel Matias, I can't remember what fight card that was at the event, but he last stopped at Ergashev, show something Ergashev. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but he stopped him on a stool, and since then Ergashev has we won't include him. As you can see, he's not on here because he's currently suspended. So I don't know what he's suspended about, but if it's a suspicion of PEDs or anything of the sort, we gonna keep them off the list as well. So we anybody that's currently suspended for whatever reason or under some allegation, we'll keep them off as well, and they won't be considered. You know, they won't be considered either. So Subriel Matias, you know, he has a lot of punching power, you know, devastating power, man. Rest in peace to, you know, somebody he shared the ring with actually passed away, you know, Maxim, and rest in peace to him. And yeah, so I believe Buddy McGirt was his trainer at the time too. And Subriel Matias is a beast. You know, he actually he's actually been calling out Teofimo and Devin Haney and everybody. So I think of him as a real star, man. And for now, I don't know if he's pound for pound talent, but he's definitely a champion level talent. So we gonna put him up there at the A tier, man. And like I said, at the end of this too, I might rearrange, and feel free to you know, do your own thing as well. But I'm gonna try to go a little fast too, man. So I'm gonna put him at A level right now. I don't want to keep this tier list too long. We have a lot of people to go through. Next up we got who is this? Jose Carlos Ramirez. Jose Carlos Ramirez, you know, he's supposed to fight Ryan Garcia, right? Because Ryan Garcia supposedly apparently he has a different opponent every day. Because first he was supposed to fight Devin Haney, he ducked up out of there. Then he's supposed to fight Rolly Romero. Then now Oscar De La Hoya said, "Nah, you gonna fight Jose Carlos Ramirez." And and then now Ryan Garcia apparently wants to fight Oscar De La Hoya himself. But a little bit more about Jose Carlos Ramirez. I think he lost to Josh Taylor. I think that's his only loss, and it was by unanimous decision. If I'm not mistaken, he let me see. He only lost to Josh Taylor. and I believe he was dropped twice in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. And so he threatened Oscar with him. So he's on the map right now, more so because he could be fighting Ryan Garcia and instead of Raleigh. So I think I think he has some star power. But I don't really know. You know, like I say, he only has one loss. This is Josh Taylor. But sometimes, if you can't really recognize, I think that's the only time I've seen him fight. Be honest, I don't know if he really poses a real threat. On his resume, is nothing really too impressive. So I don't even know if I want to say star power. I want to say he's more of like a gatekeeper. You know, even though he has a great record, I'll call him more of a great gatekeeper right now. Next up, who is this? This Ernesto Mercado, young man out of Cali, man. Young bull out of California, man. He's another one that hasn't really been tested. He has 13 wins, 12 by way of knockout, so he has a pretty good knockout ratio. I think his best wins are over Hake Lundy, or old Hake Lundy. Remember Hake Lundy fought our boy Terrence Crawford, Bud Crawford. They had it more. They had an interesting build up and all that stuff, and I think he also beat Endogenu, who we just saw Barbosa fight. Actually, Barbosa just beat Endogenu as well. So I think Ernesto Mercado, like I said, he's undefeated right now, but I don't know what I expect. I don't really expect too much of him, so I'm gonna keep him at gatekeeper. I'm gonna keep him at gatekeeper just for his potential alone, but I might want to put him in a journeyman. We're gonna see how we keep going. And next up, we have William Zepeda. William Zepeda out of Mexico. Yeah. I remember him, William Zepeda, man. And his best win, I think I see him fight Joseph Jojo Diaz. Joseph Jojo Diaz, yep. And I think Haney beat also. He has a common opponent with Haney as well. Devin Haney also fought Jojo Diaz out of Mexico and stuff like that. So Haney beat him back in like 2021, I believe. I don't trust William Zepeda. He has a great record. He has a good record. You know, I don't really trust him, but he is 29-0, and I can't really ignore that. So I got to put him on this list here to be considered. But I'm going to put him as well as a gatekeeper, man. So far, we don't have anybody at journeyman yet. But next up, we have Frank Martin. We're going to keep it there for now, man. We're going to keep it there for now. Yo, Chicken Nugget, what's good, man? Chicken Nugget in the chat. So next up, we have Frank Martin. Is that Frank? Frank Martin right there. Frank Martin, man. We know Frank Martin, he seemingly ducked Shakur. Last time we seen him, he seemingly ducked Shakur. Shakur Stevenson wanted to fight, and he doesn't really have too many performances, but all of his performances that we've seen, for the most part, that I've seen, they have pretty much been great performances, man. He shows a lot of promise, but I believe that he's relatively untested himself, man. I believe he's relatively untested in my opinion. Shakur Stevenson would have been a great test. I look forward to seeing him later on. But so for right now, I'm gonna say yes with star power. I'm gonna say yes with star power due to his promise, you know. But yeah, like I say, he's relatively untested, man. So next up, who is this? Arnold Barbosa Jr. Arnold Barbosa Jr. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not really impressed by him. I'm not really impressed by him too much. Last time we saw him was against Endogenu, as I think that was aforementioned. And so I spoke on that a little earlier. To me, he's a very basic, predictable fighter. He comes forward, he's strong, but nothing really too remarkable about him or too, he didn't really leave a lasting impression on me. I remember when him a little minute ago, I don't remember how many years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I'm not sure, don't quote me, him and Liam Parra were supposed to have a fight. We're supposed to fight as an eliminator for the mandatory challenger of the WBO belt at 140, so at junior welterweight. It was a little while ago. I don't really know why it didn't happen. Probably some issues, some contractual issues. You know how that goes with boxing. But like I said, I'm not really I know they're trying to build him up as a good fighter, but I'm gonna call him a gatekeeper, man. Yeah, maybe star power. I'm gonna call him gatekeeper, man. Cause I think if you could beat him, you're good. But if you can't beat him, then you might not have too much potential there. I'm doing good, man. Hopefully you're doing good as well, Chicken Nugget. All right, so next up, who is this? Sandor Martin. Oh man, Sandor Martin, man. His most notable fight was a loss to Teofimo Lopez. I remember that, and he lost by decision. It was actually a split decision. It was a war, man. It was a war, but it was still a loss, Other than that, I kind of think he's overrated. Although he's a little tough, he's a very tough fighter. But he did lose to Teo, and he has 3 losses actually. So Teofimo Lopez, and I believe it was Yajit 1-2 legit. I'll tell you that. I think it's Anthony Yajit. And I don't really see too much coming out of him. But like I said, he's a tough fighter. So, I mean, I think because him and Teo, Teofimo has good nights and bad nights or whatever. No excuses for him. But a great Teo, I think, destroyed Sandor Martin. But the Teo that went in there that night had a war with him. So I don't really think he's really too good. He had another loss early in his career. So if you could name the fighter that he lost early in his career, then you will be. So good luck with that one. I couldn't. I can't remember him anyway. But I think Sandor Martin, I must call him another gatekeeper, man. I think if you could beat him, you're good. If you can't, then you might be in a little bit of trouble there, you know what I'm saying, as far as boxing goes. Now, Jose Rayo Valenzuela, I like him, man. He has a lot of promise, in my opinion. He has 2 losses, one being to Edwin De Los Santos. We saw Edwin De Los Santos fight Shakur Stevenson in a terrible performance. That was like the worst performance I've ever, not the worst I've ever seen, but it was one of the worst for real. Definitely one of the worst performances of 2023. And he also lost to Chris Colbert. But he avenged that loss, you know, in decisive fashion. And you know, they're talking about him fighting Tank or Tank fighting him. I think that would have been a 3rd loss for Rayo. So good thing he didn't he didn't do that. So I don't really consider I don't know, man. I think like I said, I think he has a lot of promise, but I don't know, man. I kind of want to put him to star power, but I think we'll put him to gatekeeper. You know, like I say, and speaking of Chris Colbert, who he beat, I didn't consider Chris Colbert and people like Hector Garcia, who are there good fighters, but they primarily campaigned at 130. Sometimes they'll fight at 135, but mostly the majority of their campaign is at 130. So I didn't consider people like Chris Colbert or Hector Garcia. So that's why you don't see him here, even though Rayo was Chris Colbert was Rayo's last fight, so that's why you don't see him here. But I'm gonna call him. It's gonna be tough because I'm thinking about the ramifications if I put him to star power, and then if we get to Edwin De Los Santos, where I'm gonna put him. So I'm gonna put him as I'm gonna put him as a little bit of star power for right now, off the top of my head, right now. Liam Paro, this guy right here, man, I really like him. A young man out of Australia, man. I think he just needs a chance to prove himself, man. He looked impressive against Montana Love last time we saw him. I believe that was in on the undercard of Day of Reckoning, somewhere. Anyway, I don't quite remember, but we just saw him not too long ago against Montana Love, and they have some videos of I think a Fight Hype and stuff like that where he supposedly sparred Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. And the reason why I like this man a lot because you know there's a lot of chirping on the internet right these days and stuff like that, and I was really impressed by him because he didn't let the details of the sparring sessions go. He just said that, you know, they performed well. He got a lot of good work in with Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. He didn't give up the details. I feel like that's a stand-up guy. You know, everybody wants to do stuff for clout. He didn't do that, so I was really impressed by the young man out of Australia. I think he just needs a chance. So I'm gonna give him a B tier star power and say he has some star power. He just needs a chance out of Australia, man. I actually think that he could be better than George Kambosos, to be honest with you. Next up we got who is it? Yoshino, man. Shuichiro Yoshino. I always remember his name from when Shakur fought him. And then yeah, so he's here. And then who's that behind? Edwin De Los Santos is right behind him. So these two have in common is that they both lost to Shakur. I think they're both very formidable. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know too much about them as well, so I'm gonna call Yoshino. I'm gonna say he's more of a gatekeeper as well. If you could beat him, he's more of a gatekeeper. I'm gonna call Edwin De Los Santos 1-2. I'm gonna tell you why, because like I said, he did beat Rayo, and Rayo's above him. But Edwin De Los Santos, man, a lot of people were on Shakur Stevenson about that performance because of Shakur Stevenson's potential. You know, he's known amongst the boxing community as one of the best, or has the potential to be one of the best, you know, say a star in boxing. So that's why everybody was on his head top for that lackluster performance. However, Edwin De Los Santos thought he got a pass. He skated up out of there, was talking trash too, talking about, oh yeah, he ran for me. Bro, if Shakur Stevenson beat you with one hand, you should be ashamed of yourself. I don't care where y'all was fighting at. You know, it's a square circle. It's only so big. So if he was running from you for 12 rounds, you should have chased him down. So Edwin De Los Santos, in my opinion, like I say, I think he knocked out Rayo. So why you didn't hunt Shakur Stevenson down? The man had a hurt hand. So what's up, Ghetto Barbie gal? How you doing? You up late tonight? So it's like if he has a hurt hand, you have no excuse, bro. So that really knocked his stock down for me, man. I'm gonna call him a gatekeeper, bro. I really want to put him in the journey, man, but I ain't gonna disrespect him too much. We gonna see how it goes at the end of the day. This dude right here, Jack Catterall. I don't know too much about him. I think I only seen his fight with Josh Taylor. I might have saw one more fight, but he fought Josh Taylor, a very close split decision loss to Josh Taylor. He actually dropped Josh Taylor in a very entertaining fight, but Josh Taylor won. I think he won. I know it was a split decision, but I think Josh Taylor lost a point or something in there. I can't remember quite off the top of my head, but he also beat Jorge Linares, who's retired now. And Jorge Linares, to be honest with you, he was a great champion. He was a good champion, pretty good fighter. But towards the tail end of his career, which is when he fought him, I believe he was actually Jorge Linares' last fight before he retired too. I think that he became more of a journeyman himself, Jorge Linares. So I don't put too much stock in that. You know, a lot of people say he was a tough fight with Devin Haney. To me, that's really sad on Devin Haney because you got to tighten up. You supposed to get Jorge Linares up out of there. But anyway, Jack Catterall, like I said, he lost. Josh Taylor split the decision. I'm gonna call him a journeyman, man. I don't really trust him like that, to be honest. Like, I think he just had a good fight against Josh Taylor and he still lost. So I'm gonna call him a journeyman, to be honest. I know he has a pretty good record, but I'm gonna call him a journeyman. Next up, we got that got to be Isaac Pitbull Cruz out here looking like Scorpion, man. That's my guy right there. I'm really big on Isaac Pitbull Cruz. You know, he had a great fight against Gervonta Abdul Tank Wahid. You know, he changed his name. He had a great fight, man. He had a loss early on. Besides his fight with Tank, he had a loss early on, and he's been on a tear ever since. I really like Isaac Pitbull Cruz. His camp supposedly turned down a fight with Shakur Stevenson, where he was like, man, Shakur Stevenson is such a bad fighter, such a bad performance. Obviously, he was referencing the Edward De Los Santos fight, so he didn't want his camp said they didn't want him to make it look bad. I don't really buy that completely because I think that Shakur Stevenson and I feel like Isaac Pitbull Cruz is kind of, his style is kind of made for Shakur Stevenson. Either Shakur Stevenson is going to look very good and and uses superior footwork, or Isaac Cruz is just going to get inside and terrorize him. I mostly think it will go the former as opposed to the latter. So I think that Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a very good fighter, but I think he just it was a little bit of self-preservation, and they don't want to look good either. Shakur Stevenson didn't give anybody a reason to want to fight him after that performance, so I can't knock him. But Isaac Pitbull Cruz, I think he's a champion level fighter, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's a champion level fighter, so I'm gonna put him up there at A. Next up, we got Josh Taylor, man. Josh Taylor, former undisputed. You know, there's no more really to say about Josh Taylor, the man out of the UK, out of England, to be exact. His only loss is to Teofimo Lopez. You know, he had a fight with Regis Prograis. Of course, he beat Regis Prograis. Undisputed, I feel like I don't think he's a pound for pound talent, but I definitely think he's a champion level. So that's an A tier already. Vasily Lomachenko, his only loss was to, he has 3 losses actually. His loss was to Teofimo Lopez. No doubt he lost that. Orlando Salido, which was very early on. I think it was the second fight of his career, his pro career. He has an extensive amateur career, but I think they kind of jumped the gun and tried to make him fight. So I don't feel bad for it. A lot of people give him that excuse for losing to Orlando Salido. No, you tried to jump in there with your second fight. You know what I'm saying? So and you lost, but that was real early. And then Devin Haney. I'm not gonna lie, when I scored that fight, I had Vasily Lomachenko winning by 1 or 2 rounds, but I think that was a very close fight. If you had Devin Haney winning, I'm cool with it. If you had Vasily Lomachenko winning, I'm cool with it. If you had a draw, I'm cool with it. But on paper, Devin Haney won, and I'm not mad at that result. But with that being said, I still think he's a champion level fighter. He used to be pound for pound, and I always thought that was a little premature, you know. And as his career was going on, of course he's getting older too. But I don't think he's quite pound for pound. But I will say champion level fighter. Next up, we got Raleigh Romero, man. You know, this dude is the funniest dude out here, man. You know, I was hoping to see him back in the arena against Ryan Garcia. Raleigh Romero, you know, he pretty much, I don't want to call him a one-trick pony, but he pretty much just has power, and he's funny. You know, he definitely gets people to watch the fight. He might be like an Adrian Broner-esque type of fighter, not with his skill per se, but with his antics and the way he goes on and carries himself. You know, he puts a lot of butts in the seats from his mouth. Pause. And so I think that that alone, and the fact that he has skill, you know, he kind of got up out of there with that Ismael Barroso fight. He kind of skated up out of there, but you know, a win is a win, and you know, and he got knocked out by Tank. But I still say he has some star power, man. I think he has star power. I kind of want to put him in a gatekeeper, but I'm going to put him in star power because, you know, that's a skill in itself to attract viewers. Now, next up, we got Devin Haney, man. I don't even have to speak on Devin Haney. Y'all know what it is, man. As much as people think I don't like Devin Haney, I actually like Devin Haney. My problem is that his camp is a little annoying, man. Like, you know, they know they didn't want to fight Tank at 135. You know, they made it seem like they wanted to fight Tank years ago, and Tank said get the belt. He got the belt. What did he do? He vacated and went and fought Regis at 140, and he came in as a super middleweight. So I just call it what it is. You know, but Devin Haney as a talent, you know, you can't argue that. You know, I'll be a fool trying to argue that. He's definitely a pound for pound talent potential. So he's up there, no question. You know, and then also I didn't like when, you know, they try to act like they wanted to fight Shakur, and they definitely lowballed him. You know, you could say, oh well, he had to get a little bit of money to go fight Kambosos and all that stuff. Well, he preyed upon Kambosos. He knew he was gonna beat Kambosos, and he beat him twice. You know, no disrespect. You know, Kambosos is still the challenger, but you know, Shakur Steve, you're not gonna big dog somebody like that. Even Floyd came out and said, you know, Devin Haney, you know, you lowballed him. So if Floyd speaks, that's the GOAT. So I believe him, you know. And I already thought, because I was already thinking that anyway. So Devin Haney, with all that being said, you can't deny the man's talent. You know what I'm saying? You could like or dislike how he got there. That boy's still a beast. He had that list on Twitter where it said that they wanted to be They wanted to get the title and then move up to 140, which is exactly what they did. So even that is evidence that they didn't want no business with Tank. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. That was by their own admission. But he's still a pound for pound talent, man. He up there. He definitely S tier, man. Let's get right. Ishmael Barroso, the old man that put it out for the old folks out there, man. Shout out to him, man. Yes, sir. I'm about to hop back in the ring myself. Ishmael Barroso, of course, we already talked about him a little earlier. You know, you could say he got robbed against Rolly Romero. Also, again, with Tony Weeks, another questionable stoppage by Tony Weeks. Ishmael Barroso, with his last outing, man, he went and clipped O'Hara Davies, man. He made O'Hara Davies look crazy in the first round. So I think Ishmael Barroso, I would say, I still be honest with you, as great as he seemed, he has that undeniable power. You know, when you age, they say in boxing that the last thing to go is your power, but the first thing to go is your punch resistance. And I think that's what Tony Weeks was concerned with. But still, that was still a premature stoppage. Anybody with eyes could see that. So I think that Ishmael Barroso, while he could beat some people, surprise some people as he was doing the Rolly, I don't foresee him getting too much more. I don't really see him maximizing his talents too much more. So I'm gonna also call him a gatekeeper, man. I think if you can beat Ishmael Barroso, you have a strong future. But if you can't, you're not really gonna be too much, man. Shakur Stevenson, come on now, we know what it is. As bad as that performance was, arguably the worst performance in 2023, arguably one of the worst performances from a potential star of the sport, the future of the sport, in any era, you know what I'm saying, the history of boxing. We all know what that man could bring. I still think that he's a pound for pound talent, so I'm gonna bring him up there. And until he proves me wrong, you know, we could talk all that trash. He still won the fight with a broken hand and all. You know what I'm saying? I wish he would have handled it a little differently, and I came out right after a fight and say that after claiming he was gonna make no excuses. You know, but it is what it is. You know, it's different between him and Errol Spence in my opinion, because Errol Spence, we already knew about the car accident. That was in the news, you know, social media, whatever. And then we would have found out about his hand in similar fashion, and that's okay in my opinion. But when you come out right in the post press conference and say that your hand was broken, you know, plenty of fighters fight with their hand broken, stuff like that, hand broken or injuries and stuff like that. So I didn't really like that look. But Shakur Stevenson still won. All that trash talk, you beat somebody with one hand, somebody that knocked out somebody else on this list, and Edwin De Los Santos knocked out Rayo. So yeah, I think that's impressive, man. So I think he has to be a pound for pound talent. Next up, we got Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz will be fighting Teofimo Lopez February 8th, which is my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Show your boy some love. Good Lord willing, I get to see that fight. I think it's going to be a great fight. His only loss, I believe his only loss was to Vasyl Lomachenko, which is a good fight, close fight. I think that he has some potential there to be star power. I don't know if he's a champion level quite. When I say champion level, again, I'm not talking about just having a belt, because there's a lot of belts out there that can be grabbed. I'm talking about legitimate champion, recognized champion. So I don't think he's quite there yet, but I do think he has some star power. I think Teofimo wins in their fight, but if it's an A game, if Jermaine Ortiz is on his A game and Teofimo is not, which he's you know, he's definitely one to come in on, you know, you don't know what kind of Teofimo you get, so he's likely to come in as a good Teo or the bad Teo. You never know, man. So you don't ever know how it goes. But I think Teo on his A game and Jermaine on his A game, I think Teo wins pretty comfortably. Not to mention their amateur background too, so you go look up their fight yourself and you know how they goes. But I give some star power, man. B tier. George Kambosos. I like George Kambosos. A lot of people are kind of hard on this man. He lost to Devin Haney twice, but he did beat Teofimo Lopez. You could say, oh, it was a bad Teo. I don't care, man. It's just so funny how people pick and choose with their excuses. So you telling me a car accident is no excuse, but somebody coming in on a bad night or an off night, that's an excuse? Come on, man. You got to be focused. You got to be locked in. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I think George Kambosos, he won. I'm not going to take anything from him. However, I will say I'm not sure how legitimate he is as a champion when it comes to carrying on. I think that a lot of people beat him. Matter of fact, him and Vasyl Lomachenko are supposed to be fighting. I think Vasily Lomachenko beats him. So I would put him at that he has some star power, because I think he could spark up on you. But at the same time, I think if he fights a quality opponent, I don't really see him getting too much more out of. I think he kind of maximized his efforts right now and his skill. To be fair. And now next up we got Ryan Garcia, man, King Ryan. That's my guy right here. I really like him, man. I like his principles. And I like how he carries himself, you know, and he has a lot of star power, literally, you know, not speaking of the tiers, but he puts a lot of butts in them seats. So people have been questioning lately, oh, how do you know he really generates as much revenue? How do you know that his social media translates over to people actually watching at home or buying tickets? You know how I know? Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and all the other content creators, KSI, all the other content creators that have a huge following that are bringing life to the sport. Even though I don't like these content creators fighting, I don't watch them, but it is what it is. So we're not gonna act like it's unproven, like these likes and these that he's getting and these followers don't matter. So he definitely has star power. Is he champion level? I think he could go between champion level if he's on his A game, but I think he has a lot to work on, especially with that Philly shell with Oscar Duarte. If that was an Oscar Duarte, let's imagine if that was Tank. Well, we already know what happened with Tank, so Tank already beat him. But if that was Subriel, Matias, or if that was anybody else, man, he would have went crazy. So we're gonna go with right here. We're gonna go with Ryan Garcia being. We go put him star power, man. We go put him at star power, man. So star power for Vasily Lomachenko. All right, next up, man. Next up, we have Regis Pro Games. Somebody just tried to view bot us, chat. They just tried to follow bot us, but it didn't work because our alerts are off. Dang, don't you feel like a failure? That's crazy, man. People just be hating all types of night. It's 12:30 at night, man. You gotta get some business. Next up, we got some Regis Pro Games. Neither here nor there though. We got Regis Pro Games. We already know what he does, man. He fought Josh Taylor. He lost to Josh Taylor. He also lost to Devin Haney. But other than that, man, this dude's a serious champion. I really like him out of Louisiana, man. I like Regis Prograis a lot. I'm gonna say that I don't want to be too hard on him, say he's a gatekeeper because he's good, man. But I think he does have some star power, but I don't think he beats, Devin Haney. That's okay. I don't think he beats any of the top guys, but I could see him on a good night. Let's say I could see him maybe beating Josh Taylor, if they fought again, or maybe getting by, him. I think Subriel Matias beats him too. So I'm not sure if he's a serious champion. I could see him possibly beating Vasily Lomachenko though. Yeah, Barbie, I don't know why they tripping. So I'm gonna go with champion level. I'm gonna say champion level, man, because I think he beats like Ryan Garcia. I think he beats George Kambosos. I feel like Liam Paro, if he had a shot, could beat Regis. I think Frank Martin could beat him, but like I said, their resume doesn't really. Right now, we're going off of resumes too, and their potential, but mostly the resume. I think Frank Martin could beat him, and Liam Paro could beat him, but I think he beats like Raleigh Romero, Jermaine Ortiz, Kambosos, and Ryan Garcia. So I'm gonna put him at champion level, and of course he was a champion when Devin Haney beat him. Next up, we got Teofimo Lopez. Hold on, this day. No, we gonna switch this. You gotta say the best for last. We gonna switch this up. We gonna put they got David O'Hara. David O'Hara, man, he going journeyman. I'm sorry. All right out the gate. That man got his butt whooped by Ismael Barroso in the first round and talk about it was the oxygen in the casino. Vegas be pumping they be pumping the hotel rooms in the casino with oxygen so you can't sleep. I'll talk about it on Instagram. Well, maybe Instagram was what was keeping you up, man. That light on your phone was keeping you up and the oxygen, so you gotta be focused, bro. You gotta sleep, bro. No, I'm not. That's an excuse. You want to talk about Errol Spence and Shakur Stevenson and all these other people, Teofimo Lopez with mental excuses or whatever. That's an excuse. The oxygen? Come on, bro. Yeah, that's journeyman already, man. Journey. I'm not even want to talk about that. I kind of feel bad that I put Jack Catterall out down here too. I know a lot of people gonna be on my head top about that, but global chef in the building. But yeah, David O'Hara, he's David O'Hara's or Davies O'Hara, his name. Yeah, he definitely no excuses allowed, bro. Teofimo Lopez next up. I don't even think I have to really explain this one too much. I think that's pound for pound level. You could argue that. I know people go argue with that, but that's I don't even have to explain that, man. The man's resume speaks for itself. I know he talks a little crazy sometimes. He be saying some wild stuff. I'd be like, well, what you want right now? But I definitely think he's pound for pound level. Gervonta Tank Davis. Abdul Tank Wahid, formerly known as Gervonta Davis. Come on, man. That's the best on the list, in my opinion. So he's definitely, matter of fact, we gonna put him at number 1. So he pound for pound S tier already off rip, man. So this is my tier list so far. So we gonna go back through it. We gonna try to order it. Now this is gonna be the difficult part. We gonna order it. You know what's crazy? I actually think this is a pretty good order right here. We gonna start off at the top. Start off at the top, man. We say the best for last before, so we're going to make the best go first right now. We're going to start off with the S tier, pound for pound talent. I think Tank is number 1. I think Devin Haney's number 2. Now, these two, oh, this is tough, man. I got to go with Teofimo only because I think that, I don't know who wins. I actually think that Teofimo beats Devin Haney. I'm not going to lie. So we talk about skill-wise, I think Teofimo beats Devin Haney. But right now, how it sits today, considering their resume, I got to put Devin Haney over Teofimo right now, considering that the best 2 people on their resume would be Lomachenko and Kambosos, and Devin Haney beat both of them. Whether you want to argue it was a questionable decision over Lomachenko or not, still on paper, he beat Lomachenko and he beat Kambosos. Teofimo lost to Kambosos while he did beat Lomachenko more convincingly than Devin Haney. He's still 1 for 1 between those two, and Devin Haney's 2-0. So I got to put him over Teofimo. Now this is where I'm a little stuck right here. Best boxer is Lenny Brown. Greatest. Hey, facts. My boy Lenny. Yes, sir. So out of these two right here, man, I'm going to go with Teofimo over Shakur. Especially considering that last performance of Shakur. He got a lot of proving to do. Now, champion level A tier with Subriel, Matias, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, Josh Taylor, Vasily Lomachenko, Regis Prograis. I think I got to put Subriel Matias number 1 because I kind of want to put him for pound talent, but we're going to keep him here. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Josh Taylor, I'm going to move a little forward. I kind of thinking about putting Josh Taylor a little bit ahead of Subriel Matias, but I'm going to go with Subriel Matias right now just because he's hot right now. You know, it might not be the best answer, but he's hot right now. That's good enough for me. Isaac Pitbull Cruz, I like Isaac Pitbull Cruz, but he still has a little bit of proving to do. I'm going to put Vasily Lomachenko over him. And I'm gonna put him behind Regis Prograis. I'm gonna put it like this. I like that right there for H. So for A we got so when you're at the front of A, that means you're leading. So you're the closest to S tier. So you're at the front of A, you're the closest to S tier, and when you're the back of A, you're the closest to B tier. So that's how I'm gonna do it right there. So then we got so Subriel Matias could possibly be up there pound for pound talent, but I don't think quite yet. Frank Martin being star power, I like him there. I like Rayo there. Man, this gonna be maybe a little. I know I said that this is not proven, but for me personally, I'm putting Liam Paro over. Like I said, I like this man a lot out of Australia, man. I actually think he's better than George Kambosos. So I'm gonna put him over Rayo. I definitely gonna put George Kambosos. I'm gonna leapfrog George Kambosos at the front, just because of his pedigree and what he has. I can't take that away from him. So I'm gonna go with that. I think he's ahead of the game. I might even put. It's kind of hard for me to put George Kambosos over Pitbull Cruz. So matter of fact, we gonna make this switch right now. We gonna put Isaac Pitbull Cruz at star power B, and we gonna put George Kambosos at champion level. We gonna move him up a tier. And matter of fact, I'm gonna even put him over Regis Prograis. We gonna put him over Regis Prograis. I like that because I think Vasily Lomachenko is gonna beat Kambosos. Yeah, I'm gonna put him over there. I like that. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Isaac Pitbull Cruz has moved down, but I'm gonna put him at the front of star power B. But I'm gonna put Ryan Garcia. Just because of what he's proven. Frank Martin, I think Frank Martin is probably the best on this tier right here. But because of what who Ryan Garcia fought, you got to consider that as well. So I'm gonna put Ryan Garcia as number 2 behind Isaac Pitbull Cruz. They both lost to Tank, but Ryan Garcia got knocked out. You know, Pitbull Cruz was a nice battle. Jermaine Ortiz, he only lost to Vasily Lomachenko, but Rolly Romero, ooh, that's tough, man. Out of respect. You know, he lost a Tank as well. I think Frank Martin performs a little better, so I'm gonna put him up there. I put Rayo up here. Out of respect for Jermaine Ortiz doing well against Vasily Lomachenko, I'm gonna put him above Frank Martin for now. But I think Frank Martin's actually an overall better boxer. But for now, I gotta respect that. Ryan Garcia, like I said, I'm not saying Ryan Garcia is better than Frank Martin or Jermaine Ortiz, but I think right now that star power, man, and that potential to Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia, you know, you can't deny his power now. He can get you up out of there. So if he touch you one time, boy, that could be it, man. So we're going to go with that, man. Touch you one time, and if you don't die, you're scarred for life. If he hit you with that left hook or that right, you know what I'm talking about? So I'm pretty comfortable with this. Next down is Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper, C tier. Gatekeeper tier. I'm kind of comfortable with this, man. The only questionable person I have here is Edwin De Los Santos. I feel like I'm kind of disrespecting him a little bit, but that performance was so shitty, man. It was so terrible. I'm kind of cool with this, man. We got Jose Ramirez leading the front. Did I say yeah, I got Jose Ramirez at the front. I'm kind of cool with that. Ernesto Mercado, like I said, he's kind of unproven. I'm gonna put him towards the back. But hold on, let me see the time. Okay, we gotta try to hurry up a little bit because the time is going. So I got Jose Ramirez at the front, you know. Like I said, he only has 1 L, and you got to respect that, man. And he is supposed to be fighting Ryan Garcia, supposedly, according to Oscar De La Hoya, and he only lost to Josh Taylor. I feel like he should be at B. He could be at B, but I'm going to keep him at a Gatekeeper because I don't really trust him. William Zepeda, like I said, it's hard to ignore that 29-0. That's very hard to ignore. Barbosa there, Sandor Martin, Yoshino. I kind of like this order. This is kind of just thrown together right here. I put Ernesto comfortably at the back. I'm going to kind of move Barbosa down a little bit. I'm going to put Edwin De Los Santos in front of Yoshino. I'm going to put Ismael Barroso in front of Yoshino. I'm kind of cool with this right here. I know, you know what? I feel like Jack Catterall, I put him as journeyman. I don't trust him at all. I definitely don't trust him at all. However, However, I kind of feel like it's a little unfair to put Ernesto Mercado over him. So I'm going to bring him down as journeyman. You know, I don't trust him yet. We're going to see. He got to prove himself a lot. He's undefeated right now, but he has to prove himself a lot. I'm going to move Catterell up here. I'm going to move Catterell. Matter of fact, I'm going to move Catterell in front of Yoshino. And at the end, we have journeyman. I think this is pretty good right here, man. Journeyman got Ernesto Mercado in front of O'Hara. David O'Hara, he got to be last, man. So that's it. That's my tier list right here, man, for 135 to 140 division, man. 135 to 140 being lightweight and junior welterweight division, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. If I forgot anybody, am I forgetting anybody? I don't really think I forgot anybody too crazy. You know, I don't think it's too egregious on who I left out. Like I said, if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. Yeah, go get on my head up. We can talk about it, man. I don't mind. Hey, I welcome all comers. You know, you can always make your own tier list. You know, like I said, I already told you at the beginning why I disregarded some of the newcomers and some of the people that are retired or past their prime. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with this list, man. You know, with Tank being number 1 or Howard Davey being at the last, man. Pound for pound, let me know. Y'all come at me, man. I appreciate y'all rocking me as always, man. I love y'all for real. My boy Global Chef said it's a great list, man. I appreciate it. We go upload this on the YouTube, man. Appreciate y'all, man, for real. And that's it. Don't forget to like the video, y'all. As always, love y'all.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.